Hey, it's Don Laron, and thank you for joining us in today's episode of Making House Calls. We are in for a very special treat today. We are visiting Jennifer Suzara Cheng, who's based here in Los Angeles. And a quick background on Jennifer: she's a wife, um, mother, grandmother, educator, a social entrepreneur, a prolific children's book creator. Jennifer, thank you so much for letting us in to your time today. I know you're busy. The next 20 to 30 minutes, we're going to talk about your timeline. So, again, Jennifer, thank you.
Hi, Don. Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here. I'm on a teacher's vacation, so I'm available at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Now, I know that we started out by saying that you're an educator as well as a social entrepreneur, as well as a children's book creator. So, to give us context of what you do currently, I know that you are a high school teacher at San Pedro High School, correct?
Yes, that's true. I am a teacher. My regular job is a teacher. I've been teaching for the last 33 years. And I always have loved science since I was little. So at this point in time, I got involved with environmental science 12 years ago when I joined the global environmental small learning community in my school. So I noticed that my students, when they come in as ninth graders, were not actually keen on what's happening around them. And I was thinking we should do something about that by having coastal cleanup, uh, trash management on campus, and then it's an ongoing process. So every year we do the same thing, and at the back of my mind there is one ambition. There is one goal that I really wanted to do since I was a young child in the Philippines. I've always wanted to become a writer. Yeah. But my dad said, you're going to have a hard time. You're a woman, and then you're not going to earn much money. So I said, like, well, me and my husband are empty nesters at this point. So
Mhm.
when the kids moved out, you have more extra time in your hands. But I was taking care of my mom. So when she passed, suddenly I have so much time in my hands. And I actually was writing during the time that I have allotted to her when I had to call the Philippines. So I started writing um, out of the sadness, and I also started writing because it's my ambition. And at this point in time, I'm not writing for someone else. I'm writing for myself. Then my daughter got pregnant. She
Mhm.
gave birth to a baby boy, and it fueled my desire to keep on writing about children's books. I have written 38 titles over the pandemic, but told myself that we need a bilingual Tagalog. So what I did was to have it bilingual Tagalog, English and Tagalog. But I also am publishing English only. So my goal at the start was to just, make a PDF file and then show it to my grandson whenever we do Zoom. And people were telling me, why don't you publish? And I said, like, why not? So I started scouting for a publisher and I got so many denials.
Mhm.
It was, and there's one who was very interested, but she said, the editor said, we want to have a full authority over changing some of your ideas.
Mhm.
And in my mind, I know my message by heart. And in my mind, I know science so much because, it's my field. And so I figured I ventured to another area, which is
Hmm.
self publishing. And here we go, 8 titles down the road and many more to go. Thank you, Don, for your question.
So self-publishing. Can you tell me specifically what type of self-publishing you were talking about here?
So yeah, nowadays you probably have heard of Amazon is offering them Ingram Spark, and then we have Book Baby, and then we have other ones, Lulu, I believe. And so
Mhm.
I went online to search information, joined a lot of self-published authors, and then study here and there and so on to understand the process. And
Mhm.
so instead of $1 for every book that you sell, you
Mhm.
can actually have more control and you get a little more profit, which
Mhm.
I'm also doing because there comes a point in your life that you want to help out as well,
Mhm.
right? So I'm supporting this foundation in Naga in Ateneo, where I have my friends there, and I am supporting this foundation that caters to planting trees. So this is not for profit. So I know there's so many authors who are selling tons and tons
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
of books, but I'm not at that point. But my whole idea is to help out, and I've donated several as well quietly because I'm not earning much. So I have donated some books to nonprofit, and so people would approach me and like, why not?
So are these local or Philippine nonprofits we're talking about?
I have actually done both. I have donated at Boys and Girls Club. I have donated at some elementary schools in the city of San Pedro with some friends who are actually elementary school teachers.
Mhm.
We have STEAM school,
Mhm.
and I have donated to some elementary schools. I have a niece who's teaching in New Mexico. I donated books in her classroom as well. But in the Philippines, close to my heart, so I graduated from a barrio school
Mhm.
in Daet because of some family circumstances. So they found me online,
They
and yeah, it was amazing. I was like, wow, they found me, and
Mhm.
so I sent books to them as well, and from my mother's hometown as well, where I went to study first and second grade. And so it's not much. It's just little bits and pieces of donations, which it's heartwarming because they would send me pictures of students who are
Mhm.
actually reading and understand, because as you're aware of, in Daet, we speak Tagalog.
Okay.
We don't speak Bicol. So it's
Oh,
fascinating. Yeah.
let me ask a question about that. What's the
Uh-huh.
reason? Why is it that in your specific area you speak Tagalog and not Bicolano?
Yeah, it's the gateway to Bicolandia, and we're
Okay.
actually the first province from Quezon. So our Daet Tagalog is actually more Quezon than Camarines Sur. So
Mm.
I grew up in this little town of Jose Panganiban, and so we literally, my mother cannot speak Bicol, so she speaks Tagalog all the time. And so we grew up, and so when I get married, the people who help us, the house helps and staff in the house, are actually from my hometown, because
Mhm.
you trust them, they live with you. So my children actually speak Tagalog with a diet accent, so it's not like Manila accent. It is funny how you can hear it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you can actually hear the accent. I'm like, okay, so yeah, but
That's
it's very heartwarming to know that they have that they appreciate what I'm doing at this time.
oh, that's interesting. Now, can you tell me what was your first book that you
Oh
self-published?
yeah, so during the pandemic, no, before the pandemic, let's backtrack. I
Mhm.
went to UCLA to study picture book writing.
Mhm.
in person. That was before the pandemic. So, and then I have everything in my computer, but I never get the chance to work really on a book. So when pandemic hit, I had a field trip going to Paris with some of my ninth graders for visiting a STEAM facilities,
Mhm.
such as hydrogen cars and how the recycling is actually working in Europe. They were so excited, but suddenly we had to be on Zoom, and
Mhm.
so I was so frustrated. And also, I miss my grandson, and I can't even visit him in out of state. So this is my first book that I published, pandemic time. It won an award for diversity. My first book won an award. It
Mhm.
says winner International Book of the Year Award 2020.
Oh,
So
congratulations on that.
thank you. And it's fascinating how when you talk about animal books, it's like, it's just about animals, correct?
Mhm.
So what makes this different is that, well, this is bilingual, right?
Mhm.
So Tagalog and English, but I also added information about animals that you don't find in any children's books. So we have categories of animals such as mammals and then reptiles,
Mhm.
which is, I think, that the kids would know at this point, birds and fish.
Mhm.
And because we're Filipinos, I added a map of the Philippines so you can tell your children,
Of
what
course.
island did you came from, Mama? Or Grandpa came from here, or we have a lot of islands, and
Mhm.
so it's colored, multicolored, so you can actually identify
Mhm.
wherever you came from in the Philippines. And so this has sold a lot all over the world because
Mhm.
I did Amazon print on demand, because
Mhm.
I'm an environmentalist first and foremost, and I know that shipping actually costs a lot of carbon footprint, right?
Mhm.
So with Amazon print on demand, actually they print it on where the consumer actually bought it.
Mhm.
So no carbon footprint and the best quality ink as well,
Yeah.
and best quality paper available in that country, because every country has a different standards
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
uh, of ink use and organic ink use and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So this is good quality print on demand books for your children,
So,
grandchildren, and the children, any children in your lives.
so that means that the book or books are available in Europe, Asia,
Yes,
I think Australia, right?
yes, mm-hmm.
Continent of
Yeah,
Australia. Yes.
yeah, and then to add to that, so my former students from Ateneo,
Mhm.
I posted this in the chat, and some of them would form groups and buy, and I was really happy and impressed with how randomly when I don't check my account every every day, but sometimes two people bought books in India, or
Mhm.
in I have a lot of people buying books in UK, and for whatever reason that I can't even pinpoint the source, there's someone who buys a lot in Portugal. I
Oh.
was trying to find out. No,
Mhm.
this person is buying hundreds, so I was
Mhm.
like, wow, yeah. And I'm trying to find out who that person is up to this point, but I hope that I would be able to.
So you're doing a lot of good, just using your skills, your talent, your motivation, your advocacy to social conscious programs.
That's true.
Now let's backtrack. I know we kind of jumped into your books, but it would be kind of a disservice to you if we don't even mention that you are a recently awarded, how do you call that, the Women of Worth Award by the California State Assembly for Education.
That's true. It's an honor to have been awarded. So we have this. This is the recent one in education. So I want to share this with you. It was a pleasant surprise,
Hmm.
and we try to do as much as we can, and most of the time we don't get recognized for that, and that's okay,
Hmm.
right? But when you get recognized without actually exerting an effort, it's just like, wow, very thankful. And so when you talk about being grateful and thankful, I'm one of those people who's always thankful with little things that's happening at this point in time. So I wanna, yeah, thanks so much, the organizers behind this, and thank you for mentioning that.
My pleasure. Now, what was your, if you have to think of the challenges that you have to get over in order for you to have the books, what do you think were your major challenges back then?
Yeah, I think the rejection letters. No, I have, but because we don't have rejection letters on envelopes,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like your email. So what I did was to make a folder and added that, because actually the editors would add something at the back, at the bottom of the letter, like
Mm-hmm.
you could do this, you could do that to improve it. So I read
Mm-hmm.
those rejection letters over and over again, and so in my mind, if my book was not
Mm-hmm.
accepted, it doesn't mean it's not good totally, but I could add something different. And so there's one editor who took the time to review my book, and he said, like, make it different, add extra. And so that's what I have been doing. All my books have extra something at the back pages, information. My storybooks have information, and it's not actually what you say as too advanced for kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It's something that the students, I believe, as a teacher, as a mother, as a grandmother, that students who are exposed to love for animals tend to be more careful about the environment, because they know, they would see when they know that the trash that they throw away eventually would be eaten by animals. And so, and also, one thing, who buys the children's books?
Maybe the mother,
Uh-huh. Mother, or gifts
grandma.
from people like titos and titas, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ninongs and ninangs, lola and lolo, and
Mm-hmm.
then neighbors,
Mm-hmm.
friends, family, friends. So when they read the book, who reads to the children first?
I
The
guess the
mom.
mom.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
mom or the dad, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
someone, an adult. And so when they read the book, you actually have two individuals who are learning from the book.
Oh,
The
yeah.
older ones, the older ones are
Mm-hmm.
relearning,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or unlearning,
Mm-hmm.
and the younger ones are learning.
Oh,
Because
perfect.
the
Yeah.
concept of,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the concept of a brain child as
Mm-hmm.
a tabula rasa in education, that the brain is actually a blank slate, works in this one. And also, as you know, Don, we learned, so in thesis writing in college, you use what? You use typewriter.
I guess typewriter.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
we had to, for the audience, when you
Uh-huh.
use the typewriter and switch the computer, it was not easy. I was thinking at the time, because of the force of my finger, that I would ruin the keyboard. That
Uh-huh.
you have to consciously be adjusting and adapting in
Mhm.
the same manner that our concepts of single use plastic,
Mhm.
single use cups, single use spoon and fork, even if it's convenient, when they actually see it in the book that, oh, they could end up in the ocean, they could be eaten by the animals. It's unlearning and
Mhm.
relearning a basic concept of science and basic concept of environmental sustainability. So, and also, are you aware that the children are the best because they learned it, and they would remind the adult, like, Mom, please don't use that. Or Lola, okay, that's not good for the turtles might eat them. And so you become, yeah, they are your advocate because they are the generation that we're preserving the earth for.
Mhm.
So they are the young soldiers, they are our defenders.
So your being a social entrepreneur actually is mainly connected to your being a children's book creator, correct?
Yes, that's really true. And social entrepreneur because we try to lower down the cost.
Mhm.
and social entrepreneur because we donate to a lot of, I say we because my husband and I are both involved in this. Luckily he retired so he
Mhm.
could help me. So we both of us are into more of a, is it responsible,
Mhm.
is it good, is for the common good, because we're at that age we're in. How would you say that? In Eric Erickson's theory, we are at the point wherein we want to give back to the earth,
Okay.
to the community.
Mhm. Mhm. Do give something back, right? Give
Yeah,
something back. Uh, being kind of a um, reward for the rewards that was given to us, that was gifted to us, and now you're trying to give back to the people, to the community that has given you such blessings and skills and opportunities.
that's really true, and we're grateful that we were given the opportunity to live in this beautiful country. I know no country is perfect, so I don't only concentrate, like I have mentioned, I don't only concentrate on giving back in the Philippines, but I also give back in my local community.
Mhm. Now, can you? I know that you have just recently. I'm not sure how recent was that, but you just published another book, a hardbound book.
Hmm.
Maybe you could tell us something about it.
Yeah, so this is something that okay. So the latest one that it's a ocean adventure.
Mm-hmm.
The story is about having, I celebrate every animal, but this one is concentrating or focusing on octopus. And so every page that you see here, okay, has an octopus.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't believe in cartoon characters wherein kids would think they are cute and they
Mm-hmm.
touch them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. I'm totally against that. And so what I did was I worked with an artist, Mr. Basbas. He was
Mm-hmm.
actually my classmate, my schoolmate and friend back in Ateneo. So I
Mm-hmm.
told him, and we would talk about this. This is a really good artist, but we talk about. I would send him pictures of real octopus, and so you have that, not your Disney characters. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so there was one child who had a reaction to this. I was fascinated by this one boy in Orange County. He said like, "Oh, that's the most dangerous octopus of all time," and he was 8 years old. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, how did? And so he went to the book fair, and then he was, no, I have a book, and so yeah, this is very interesting. So I was like, okay, this is for you. And I'm very amazed with how some of the kids would be so interested.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and this book is not only about stories, but also about beach cleanup. About the
Mm-hmm.
effects of trash. About the effects of trash.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
so at the back of the book, like that editor in San Francisco who told me, make your book a little different than the rest of the books found in the market.
Mm-hmm.
I always remember that at the back of my mind that I have to add information. You can see this in my book, additional resources. Okay. So I added marine and ocean pollution,
Mm-hmm.
and I added as well fun facts so that the kids would find more information, fun information, and of course, who doesn't like coloring, right?
Yeah.
But also to support my books, I uploaded in my website.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't buy my books, that's okay. You can download free PDF printables in my website,
Mm-hmm.
and you can give them to any children that you like, and then have them color it in both Tagalog and English. It's about animals, events like Happy Mother's Day, and I have octopus and starfish as well. So this one is only in Tagalog and English, but the other one that has sold a lot already, this
Mm-hmm.
was before, is the Tide Pool Adventure. So this one is very special. This was my first storybook. And so as that there's always a starfish on every page. Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, and so you like, okay, find the starfish, and then at the back, uh, I added information as well about the tide pools.
Mhm.
And this was a very special book for me. And fun facts, I wrote this during the pandemic. I was sitting on the beach
Mhm.
in Cabrillo Marine Aquarium. You can buy this in Cabrillo Marine Aquarium. They're selling this there. It's exactly a replica of how it looked like over there. So I would, during the pandemic, it was crazy, right? And so this one has Spanish
Uh-huh.
and English only as well for the non-Tagalog speaker.
Oh, by the way, the website, actually you can see the website below. It's www.film dash echograndma.com
Thank
for
you.
to get the uh, full full view of the books, as well as the downloaded free download coloring sheets, right?
Yes, and also the schedule of where will I be, and people were asking me, why do you do pop-ups? Do you
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'm the only non-food vendor in a pop-up,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, okay, there barbecue and a lot. Oh, I always think of pop-ups as my break. It's not a job for me, although it's physically tiring. But I have met a lot of wonderful entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
Filipinos who are actually having a small business here in US. But
Mm-hmm.
also the good thing is that I became exposed to my readers, who are my readers, right? And the most important thing is that I get to have the connection with my community,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't get to do during school days because
Uh-huh.
there's very few Filipinos in my school site. So even if, although these young Filipinos also, by the way, were my inspiration because they would come see me. You'll be amazed how,
Mm-hmm.
hi, Miss Cheng, are you? Because, Cheng is
Uh-huh.
not a Filipino last name, right? But they would like figure it out that I'm a Filipino by my accent, how I
Mm-hmm.
look, and some of them would come to see me at lunch and ask, and then ask me one Tagalog word a day. So like, okay, I would give them one Tagalog word a day, and they're
Mm-hmm.
always saying, sayang, or what a pity, I don't speak Tagalog. So that is so inspiring. Isn't it inspiring that these young folks actually wanted to speak Tagalog? My cousins who were born here were the same thing. So I also have another cousin. She's an author. She's in UC Berkeley. We
Mm-hmm.
would always get in touch, but she's a different genre. So
Mm-hmm.
and she wanted to speak Tagalog so bad, and she would like call just to talk. And these people actually combined together gave me that inspiration, gave me that drive to do more.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to show to our audience the books that actually there's actually total of 14 books. What I have here, we have four, but then again, you can find these books online on Amazon. Check out Jennifer Suzara Cheng's Amazon author page. You can use the QR code, scan the code, and it will give you instant link to Amazon, to her Amazon webpage, and you get all the 14 titles. Now, Jennifer, I know that you mentioned about a minute ago that you always go to this pop-up events. Are there any events that we're looking at, maybe in the currently the next week or so?
Yeah, so this coming weekend we will be in San Fernando Valley, and
Mm-hmm.
then the week after we only do Saturdays. We don't do Sundays. So on Saturday we'll be in Norwalk. Now I have a Instagram handle Suzara Cheng, and my schedule is there, but also my website. It's also updated schedule where I will be. So I don't go to the same pop ups. I try to go to different ones, because I want to have access to some of the wonderful people who still have cravings for Filipino food. And I'm like, oh, what is an author doing here? And I always say humbly, I'm trying to do my part because I don't cook very well. So I might as well contribute to the community by giving access to the language. And also, Don, can I make an announcement?
Sure, sure, please.
Yeah, we'll be publishing a one set, three books during the summer about Philippine culture.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and we're cooking it, we're baking it, or we're writing on it, and I'm very excited because I know that all my books are science based, but then again, I get to see that there's not much about Filipino culture.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to introduce this as a whole set because these are numbers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are numbers. The one, two, three for science. We're gonna have the one, two, three as well for actually one, two, three, four, five, six for science, and then two storybooks in different languages. And the one that we are going to introduced probably by the end of July will be Filipino culture. Three sets of books for Ang Batang Magalang, meaning respectful child.
Mm-hmm.
Second one would be about special events in the Philippines, a fiesta, Pasko, Bagong Taon, and the
Mm-hmm.
third one, we're still thinking about it. So yeah, we get finishing one first, and the second, and the third would be I'm looking at beautiful places of the Philippines. How's that? So when you go tour,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to have when I go there, okay, I'm in Benguet, the rice terraces, right? Or you'll be in Cebu, where
Mm-hmm.
Magellan has landed. Something
Yeah.
that's actually people go to, and I'm very excited about that. And maybe, who knows, this will be more saleable than the science ones.
Okay, so having said all these, and you have multiple books that you've already published, and you have, you know, three books. Think in the future. Have you thought, like looking back, did you ever think, oh, I'd be able to come up with this number of books? Looking back now.
Yeah, I know it's amazing. So I was invited in one entrepreneur class at San Pedro High School, and so one of the students asked, "How old were you when you started your business?" I was like,
Mhm.
"Wow, nobody actually asked me that." So I'm proud of my age. So I said, huh, I had to count back. I said, like, I was 57.
Mhm.
And the students were like, wow, did you even think it's going to be a hindrance? I said, like, no, I just did what I did because I wanted to do it. I never thought about, every book cost capital, printing cost, design, artist,
Your time.
and yeah, my time. So but you see, I published everything without help from anyone. So I'm very proud of this. This is something that I have done after a long time that was actually just for my ambition, just for my self satisfaction, just for the desire to
Mhm.
spread the word about environment,
Mhm.
our language, and our culture. And who knows what's next.
I'm sure a lot of people have said good things about what you're doing, about your books, about your advocacy. Is there something, one thing, one statement, one thing that someone said to you that kind of was, you know, you felt more proud of yourself than the other comments or compliments that you got?
Yeah, there's this elderly couple
Mm-hmm.
um, who went to Philippine Independence Day in Carson City,
Mm-hmm.
and they were saying something like, "No one, these books were not available when we were raising our children." But they said their grandchildren are already grown up, and they don't have any little child in their family. or their friends because they're elderly, maybe under 80s. And so I was like, oh, it's okay. If someone asks, then you could always refer them. I gave them my card and my information. Please pass on. And the lady opened up her wallet and gave me $100. You know what she said?
Uh huh.
Thank you for doing this. This is to help you with your capital, whatever expenses that you maybe edit, for any expenses for your endeavor. And thank you for doing this. I was close to crying. I was like, wow. And there was also, that's $100 totally different, right? But
Mm-hmm.
there's another gentleman from Bicol, where I was born, and he was like, "Oh, wow!" And he was talking in Bicol, blah, blah, and I speak fluent Bicol.
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking to him like, "Oh, Manong," and so, but he was probably on his 80s as well, or 90s. He was on a walker,
Mm-hmm.
and he gave me $5. I was like, no, 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 don't.
Mm-hmm.
I said like, I'm good. I have a job, and so no, this is to help you out, and these little things matter so much. It's not the money actually
Mm-hmm.
that they gave, but more the encouragement. A lot of people do encourage, gave encouragement, encouraging words, and so I want to take this opportunity about how Tagalog is taught now at UCLA
Mm-hmm.
for a
Okay.
couple of years. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Tagalog is going to be taught next semester at Harvard University.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, what does it mean that we are being recognized, our language is being recognized? And so, I know there's a lot of people who would be saying Tagalog is not the right term, and Filipino. I would go with Harvard. Harvard said Tagalog, I'll stick with
Mhm.
Tagalog. Thank you very much.
Oh, nice. That's the latest news about Tagalog being accepted or brought into mainstream education.
Yeah. I actually am certified to teach Tagalog. I took the test for CBEST, but there's not enough interest in my school because the school that I'm working at, basically there are few Philippine Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And also my AP, my assistant principal said, we need you in science. I teach AP environmental science, AP biology, and honors biology. So they said, we need you in science. And I said, if there is a need, then I would step up. But so far, we have to create the need. And so that's the
Mm-hmm.
next one, right?
All right, Jennifer, I'm trying to think if there's something that we haven't touched on, um, but I think we've talked about most of the more important things, especially about the books. Um, so, just would like to remind our audience that Jennifer can be reached at her website, which is philam slash echograndma.com. And on Instagram, you can
Suzara
reach her,
Cheng.
Suzara
Cheng.
Cheng.
Uh-huh.
Just one word, right?
Yes, yes. At
Suzara
Suzara Cheng.
Cheng
Hmm.
on Instagram.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer, thank you for the time. Again, thank you for letting us in to your time today. I know you're busy. You said you're vacationing, but I know that behind what you said about you're on vacation, you're busy with a lot of stuff. So thank you again, and mabalos. Our pleasure to have you in our program today. Thank you, Jennifer.
Of course, yeah. My pleasure. Mabalos po is thank you in Bicol. So, yeah, Diyos mabalos po sa Indugabos, meaning God will thank you for this. And hopefully, we should stop doing the um, not teaching our children the capability to speak another language. We're hoping for that. And thank you very much for watching. And Don, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.